All right, so we back. Daredevil episode 7, Hateful Darkness. We're one episode away from the season finale. We got the Punisher special presentation right around the corner, kicking off, I believe, the very next week after episode 8. So I don't want to jump the gun just yet. We just want to focus on episode 7 right now. But we left off episode 6 with Karen ended up being caught by Officer Powell, and we kick it off right after that where Karen is being processed in precinct 15 and Kingpin pays her a visit and they exchange words, and it ends in pretty much being very, very disgusted at looking at Karen Page due to the fact that she has been a part of spoiling a lot of Kingpin's plans.
Right. Definitely didn't expect her to get caught though in this episode. I definitely thought she was gonna pull up a fight, but overall, we got. But I do definitely got to give it up to Karen Page, yo. She's definitely becoming a whole new character. She's definitely changing, and I kind of dig it. I'm digging it.
Really? If I'm being honest, that dark Karen Page ain't really come out this episode, which I was a little disappointed in.
But I mean, it plays hand in hand. You know, her beliefs are changing and everything, and I can see that she's definitely leading on the Punisher side with the way that she's handling everything going on in this season. Definitely digging it though.
Absolutely. Which we're going to revisit that Punisher piece a little later on into this particular video, but we transition to the next scene where Jessica Jones is sitting in Mr. Charlie's, I believe, his house. He's waking up and first thing he sees is Jessica Jones. And before I continue on with this, I do want to say by each episode, Mr. Charlie, I'm losing more and more respect for him as far as a person in power.
I feel in the same way, bro. I don't know about you, but he just like rubs me the wrong way. Pause. But like he's just I don't know. Like I don't know whose side he's on. I don't know whether you could trust. I feel like he's like a trickster. Like
Yeah,
it seems like he hops on whoever's side is winning at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's despicable to me. I can't rock with that.
absolutely. And I feel like this particular scene, because before we even went live, I told you I'm gonna have to rewatch this to see to get a complete understanding of what exactly is going on. But I'm gonna start off by saying Jessica and Charlie, they clearly have some type of relationship where they have been dealing with each other on more than one occasion. And some of the things that we're saying as far as Mr. Charlie is concerned is that he stated that Luke Cage is doing missions for him in place of Jessica Jones. So I have a theory, because he did say that Cage is overseas. So at first, I thought that maybe that special private government agency that you saw in the Wonder Man series, maybe they have Luke Cage working for them to help get special individuals. What you think?
They definitely collecting special individuals. How do they say it? Enhance individuals. I mean, Jessica said in the last episode. So it seems like definitely Mr. Charlie is working with somebody, and I definitely think it's probably Valentina because I believe this season is taking place right before the Thunderbolts. And as we know, what Valentina was looking for her own special enhanced individuals. I wouldn't say she wasn't creating the Thunderbolts at this time, but she was looking for special individuals that could accomplish missions for not only the CIA, but for the government under the books. You know what I mean?
Right. So just real quick, you said you think that this takes place before Thunderbolts?
I believe so. I mean, that's what the talk is going around on the internet right now. And I mean, it does seem to align because it seems like he has a special friend in the government. And the only other person that I know who has been collecting enhanced individuals has been Valentina. I mean, hence why we got the Thunderbolts, correct?
So my thing is, can't Valentina still do those things even after the events of Thunderbolts? Because it's not like she went to jail or anything.
She could, but I mean, this is just a theory. It could take place before or after. I mean, either way, it seems that the government has a special mission for these enhanced individuals going forward. You know what I mean? Like it seems like they have a plan. They're using these enhanced individuals. If they can't use them, they're going to label them as terrorists or vigilantes or just criminals just walking around the streets.
Right. So we transition to the very next scene, and Daredevil meets with Jessica and Cherry. Now, Jessica gives the intel to Daredevil Matt Murdock that Fisk plans on taking out the governor due to the fact that the governor is not exactly on, well, she's completely despises Fisk at this point, especially after the events in episode 6, where he gave the order to open fire on the civilians at City Hall. And we have Cherry show up to the scene, and he's giving out the intel to Matt where exactly Karen Page is being held at. And it was revealed that he's at Precinct 15 and they have an inside man.
Yes. And this is crazy because we definitely get a recurring character come back to reprise his role from all the way in season 1 of Daredevil, which I was shocked because I didn't expect to see him come back. We get, I believe it's Officer Brett
It is Mahoney. Well,
Mahoney,
he's the chief now
Sergeant Brett
at
Mahoney,
Precinct
Chief.
15 now, I believe.
Chief. And it's been a long, like, it's been a long time coming because I did not expect to see Royce Johnson reprise his role as Brett Mahoney, and it's good to see him. So they definitely, like we stated before in the last podcast, that they're really connecting the dots. They're definitely connecting the Netflix series with Born Again, which is still amazing. I mean, great attention to detail. Did not see that coming. Really, it's great to see these characters come back, and now I wish to see more of the older characters from the Netflix series reprise their role as characters in this season going forward or next.
Well, since we're on the Mahoney conversation, Mahoney allows Daredevil 1 minute with Karen Page outside of her cell. And before I get into more detail, bro, the more we see Daredevil and Karen hug each other, the more obvious it is that that is Matt underneath the mask. And it just it doesn't look right optically if you're trying to keep a secret identity.
Yeah, it kind of plays like it kind of gives it like I don't know the vibes that I feel like I'm getting cringe. I don't know. Is it me or is it you? Because I feel like at times I feel like he's jeopardizing the mission to go see Karen, especially in this scene where he went to the precinct to go see Karen and actually waves a favor with Brett, which he owes Daredevil from, I believe, all the way back in season 3. So this is how he was able to pull out the whole seeing Karen Page for at least 1 minute, which I mean, still, I mean, he's really jeopardizing his job with this. But at the same time, I'm like, bro, like this dude really just spent a whole 60 seconds to talk with Karen Page, but he could have just, I don't know, send a messenger, a letter. You know what
If
I
we're
mean?
being honest, I thought they was gonna get caught.
I wouldn't go and say that, but I mean, it's crazy how how he did all that when I didn't feel like that scene was necessary. I don't know, maybe it's just me. I just felt like that was just that was a scene that didn't need to be added. They could have just stated that out, in
Well,
another
we
scene.
had to have some type of Mahoney connection because, like you said, we're trying to tie up loose ends. And I don't think this is the last time we're going to see Mahoney, but I felt like this was a good little, hey, here's a blast on the past. We have Chief Mahoney now. Before he was a regular beat cop Mahoney, then he got promoted after the actions of Daredevil, giving them tips and shit. And then he ended up being a detective. And now, after all this time has passed, he's moving up in the world in New York and now he's a big fish. So I feel like it's a good look. It's a good puzzle piece to put in the to fill a blank in the puzzle.
I mean, not only did we get Brett back in this episode, but I mean in the season, but we definitely got James Wesley coming back, which I mean, this is amazing. I mean, I love the attention to detail. I can't stress that enough. But we definitely got to talk about the scene with Karen Page and Wilson Fisk. That scene went hard. Like definitely that. Even though I know that he didn't have to go visit Karen in jail, but the fact that he threatened her and then put his hands around her throat and I gotta love this because I feel like we're slowly getting Kingpin to come back to his ruthless ways, if you know what I mean. Like we're getting the old Kingpin back, and I'm digging it and I'm loving it. But I don't think we ever seen Kingpin like hurt a female throughout the Netflix series. I might be wrong. Don't quote me on that, but it's really crazy how he really wants to end her, but he doesn't do it because he's got to play by the books in order to keep his role as mayor of New York.
Right. Going back to the conversation between Matt and Karen about how she was going to have an actual, I wouldn't say fair trial, but all eyes are going to be on this particular trial to set an example that I'm assuming Kingpin's trying to do things the right way. And they had to take off they had to take off the table of possibly breaking Karen out because of the way they were doing it ethically.
Correct. which I kind of felt like wasn't really, maybe it's just me. I felt like the plan that Karen had was to fight it in court to expose Fisk. And I kind of felt like, with the politics going on and the people that are in power right now, I felt like that was kind of like a dead mission. I felt like you weren't going to get anywhere with that, but I mean, the more eyes are gonna watch, the more she can expose with it. But it was, to me, I don't want to say it was a great power play. In my opinion, I kind of felt like you should have just broke her out. But like you stated before, it was definitely a move that Kingpin already knew was going to happen. Karen decided like let's fight this in court and see what happens. The more people are gonna know, more people are going to make their own opinions of the matters. Definitely kind of, I guess you could say I didn't really agree with the plan, but in a way, it is a smart plan. It is pretty intelligent. Like thinking about it, like at the time of me seeing it when they were talking for that 1 minute in the alley, I kind of was like, that's kind of dumb. Why don't you just free her, bro? Like you just went all the way to the precinct and you wavered this favor and you didn't take her with you. But I get it. Not like, as the episode finished and I'm like, okay, that was kind of a smart plan on her behalf.
Right. So as we transition to the next scene with Fisk meeting with District Attorney Hawkberg, and Fisk is telling him, "Look, I need you to charge her with everything that you got. Like, we need to make sure that we get this particular conviction." And Hawkberg is kind of having his doubts, but he can't really say no to Fisk with anything, if we're being honest.
I feel like he's a yes man. Like he's just scared of Fisk. So he's just gonna
Shoot,
be
I'd be a
he's
yes
just
man
a
too. I'm scared of Fisk too.
I mean, after all the BS we seen going on this season, yeah, I would definitely be like, yo, just either just
Come on, bro. He bear hugged a guy and killed him.
a doctor at that too. Like
The
that shit was crazy.
doctor crushed the police commissioner's head with his two hands.
Facts. And then beat a human being with a bat like a wounded animal.
Yeah, so
That's crazy. And then still ran hands with Daredevil in the last week's episode, which by the way we gotta talk about later. But still, like the fact that he's doing what he's doing is crazy, and it's just the way that his composure, how he's going about it, like it's as if like this is just a regular weekday for him.
right. All right, so Heather interrupts this meeting, right?
Hmm.
And she comes in and sits down, and Kingpin does this with the smoothness, man. Like, she comes in, to check on his mental health, considering the fact that she was Kingpin and Vanessa's marriage counselor, and she checking in on him, see how he's doing after the death of his wife, and she's offering her condolences in a way, and I don't think we discussed this last week in last week's episode where she stole the earring. I didn't know exactly what she stole from Vanessa's jewelry
Hmm.
box during I want to say the event after the funeral of Vanessa, but Kingpin noticed it in this particular episode and he showed it to her. And we really didn't get a resolution to what the consequences for Heather was going to be for taking something that wasn't hers.
Correct. And to be honest with you, I did not see how do I say, I felt like the punishment didn't fit the crime. I definitely did not see him reacting the way that he did with her. And to be honest with you, because it was something valuable of his wife, I really thought he was gonna put hands on her. But it seems like he understands Heather. Like I don't know how to explain it. I don't feel like he feels sorry for her, but I do believe he's planning to use her later on. And we definitely got to talk about how Heather is really changing throughout this season. Like you see, like there's like this evil in her. It's coming out,
Yeah, we gonna get to it. We definitely gonna get to it. But
but you could definitely see the change overall.
yeah,
Like I did not
absolutely.
expect this outcome to be the way that it did. I felt like he was a little soft on her, but maybe that was part of the plan because I feel like I stated before, he needs to use her. Well, she must be a valuable piece in this game of chess or checkers, if you may, going forward. But overall, I did not see him being really gentle with her. I really thought he was gonna get aggressive, like, "Oh, you stole from me, like, and you stole from my dead wife, and it hasn't even been that long. Oh, I'm gonna do something to you." I definitely didn't expect that. So
Yeah, that was, if we're being honest, that was like on the top of the list of ultimate disrespect.
facts, because if it was me, I don't know, bro. I don't think the words would have been the way that I would have planned how that conversation went out. But overall, Fist is a man of power. So, he's always has something up his sleeve. So definitely was shocked how he was talking to Heather. So, I mean, overall, definitely surprised.
Very calm. All right. Moving on to the first day that Karen goes on trial. Kirsten McDuffie obviously is representing her, and Kirsten drops the nuke and introduces Matt as the co-counsel, which, for a reminder for a lot of people, Matt hasn't been seen by the public since Daredevil Born Again season 1, right, I want to say episode 8, before he got shot. That was the last time they saw him at
Yeah,
the
when he took the bullet for Kingpin.
when he took the bullet for Kingpin. Here's my mindset with it. The whole reason why Matt ended up coming back for this particular situation was to try to paint the picture of the anti-vigilante task force as being the bad guys, and Karen, to paint Karen in a way of her being a good guy without actually stating it. That makes sense?
No, I agree with you. What I do definitely got to say, to retract on my statement, well, not to retract, but to add to my statement previously when we were talking about Karen Page during the precinct scene in the hallway with Daredevil. On this part, on Matt Murdock, that was a power play. That was definitely a counter right there. And that was a very, very smart move, because he can't do nothing as Daredevil at the specific moment, because he was going to bail Karen Page, like we stated earlier, but he didn't do it because they both knew that Kingpin was waiting for that move to happen. And he already had everything in play if he had freed Karen from the precinct. But to see Matt Murdock to come back in the courtroom as a defense attorney and, well, a co-attorney was a definitely power play, because not only is he showing to the public that he is not wanted, he's also a free man, but also he is cleaning his name with any connections with the vigilantes. So it's a great power play. He's playing it that he's still a civilian that is important, not only to the city, but also to the public.
Right. So meanwhile, Daniel takes BB to a safe house with the intent to give her up to Buck. And at the last second, Daniel has a change of heart and lets BB go. Now, we've been going back and forth, I want to say, for the past, this is the 3rd episode in a row where we have put the microscope under Daniel about what is going on with Daniel. What side is he going to be on? Is he going to have a future in the within the Kingpin's organization? And a lot of questions was answered in this particular episode. And to be honest with you, I'm just gonna come out and say it. After he let her go, Daniel confronted Buck, and Buck attempted to beat the information out of her, like, yo, where's she at? And Daniel wasn't cracking, which I'm very surprised. Well, he didn't know anyway, but I'm very surprised Daniel was able to keep his mouth shut in his final moments, and Buck ended up taking him out.
Daniel, bro. What can I say about this character? I'm trying to figure out my words. Give me 1 second. I'm very shocked at how he played to his last minutes on this episode. I knew it was coming, that he was going to either have to put himself out there to betray the organization, aka the Kingpin, or he was going to give up BB. And to be honest with you, at first, I could see him giving up BB because he really wanted to be part of Kingpin's empire. But, of course, he was simping hard for BB. And to be honest with you, even though he didn't get nothing out of it in return, besides friendship, I ain't even mad. But, I mean, at the end, he did what was right.
He went out with honor.
He went out with some honor. I felt like he redeemed himself, but not 100%, but he did redeem himself. And overall, I did not expect him to die in this season. I kind of thought we were going to get one more season. Maybe he would. I was expecting him to die at the last episode, but overall, his character was wrapped up pretty fast. I did enjoy his character. I did enjoy his character's growth and the development. I wish we could see him more. I just didn't like the portrayal that they did with him, especially with the simping. I mean, I can't stress this enough with Daniel Blake. I just don't know why the writers didn't just give him some action, bro. I mean, come on, bro. I mean, can my man get a win? I mean, definitely, like, he didn't even get a kiss. He didn't even get no cheeks, nothing. I mean, I hope they redeem him later. I hope he got something before he
This
decides to
is
let
not
people
a
go.
redeemable. You might as well just go ahead and move on. He's just another character and we'll get introduced to a new character next season. It's okay.
But
Daniel,
overall, he redeemed himself. To me, not 100%, but he did redeem himself. I liked him as a character. Definitely did not expect this coming. Definitely really held his own at the end. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. No puns intended when I'm talking about Cashman. But I really thought he was gonna. I'm not gonna say he was gonna have an even fight with Buck, but I kind of thought he was gonna throw a couple punches and kind of was like, I can do this all day, and then eventually get his ass kicked. But
you know
overall, it
damn
didn't
well,
turn out
as
like.
soft as Daniel was, he is not gonna take a couple punches. He's like
Well, I mean, he
he
did
even
take the punches. I thought he was gonna give out some punches. I thought he was gonna give
he
out
ain't
some,
fight
some.
back. He's like, Buck, no, stop. What you mean?
Overall, definitely did not. I definitely thought he was gonna get some honor at the end. That's why I can't go say he really redeemed himself 100%. But overall, to talk about Cashman, definitely can see he didn't want to do it. He saw him like a little brother that he never had. He liked him. He was a friend. And overall, he had to do a job and he did it. I mean, at the end, this is what the type of business he got into, and he ain't looking back. And he's definitely not going to give it up for somebody like Daniel Blake. So RIP to Daniel Blake. Daniel Blake. I definitely didn't see him dying off in this episode. And I know a lot of people are going to say that, how do you know he's dead? Because at the end, I mean, he got shot. We specifically didn't get a POV shot of that, but to be honest with you, that was pretty close to the chest, and I don't see him making out of it. And if he did save him, I don't know why Cashman would save him.
But he's dead.
But overall, my thoughts and my opinion, I think he's dead. He ain't coming back. His character is gone. And overall, RIP. And definitely, BB, hey, more power to you, yo. More power to you.
Man, please. I don't want to hear that. He did.
She made it
That's
out. He didn't make it out. She made it out. More power to you,
she
though.
made it out, but the fact that he could have went with her is the crazy part. Like, what were you expecting to happen when you went to the rendezvous with Buck? I don't know where she's
Well, he
at.
did promise that they were going to escape. And to be honest with you, I don't think she saw him turning the other cheek and turning her into Cashman. It wasn't until the end where I guess at the end of the day, she took his kindness for weakness, and that was a mistake on her part. But overall, I mean, this is where I'm gonna give my true opinion on this. If you just gave some cheeks, he would have saved you. But overall, I digress. It didn't turn out that way, but more power to you, BB. More power to you. You're still alive. Still love you though as your character.
So after the first day of Karen's trial, Kirsten and Matt are going to the garage to being escorted by some of New York's police, and they ended up getting ambushed by the anti-vigilante task force attempting to kill Matt and Kirsten. And Matt takes a stray bullet, and they both end up escaping this assault.
This was a crazy move on Kingpin's part, though.
You think so?
I mean, yeah, because that was definitely, I wouldn't say that was a power play, but that was definitely expected of Kingpin to do that.
Yeah, I was going to say,
mean,
I definitely was
he didn't even
expecting
hold
it.
back. Like, he didn't even let not even a couple days of the trial go by. Like, he immediately, as soon as the first day finished, he went right after
Kirsten and Matt.
And to be honest with you, I'm kind of highly shocked because it's as if he knows he was about to lose his power, or two, he has no more fucks, or three, he's going to get whatever he wants by any means necessary, which means you're playing with an individual who has nothing left to lose. So
you got tie up loose ends, if we're being honest,
most
based
definitely,
off of what's about to happen in this very next scene.
Overall, I definitely got to say this because I felt like this was a little cheesy, that when they came after Matt and Kirsten, Matt stayed behind and Kirsten ran with security, and they didn't even look back. To be honest with you, at this point now, if I was Kirsten and Matt Murdock had just came back out of a long time hiatus for I don't know, I believe it's months now, I would start to think and connect the dots that Matt Murdock isn't Matt Murdock, if you know what I mean. He's not just a regular blind lawyer, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, he got shot and they just smooth it in the whip and they just drove off. And I'm sitting there like, if I was her, I would definitely probably be like, who are you? And
Yep.
why did we leave without you? Like and these are people that know Matt.
Yep.
And I'm definitely kind of shocked because it kind of feels like at this point, I get it. It's the heat of the moment. But at the same time, I kind of feel like that's definitely right there in your face. Like, it's it's really just saying, is Matt Murdock Daredevil? I mean, because you just left a blind man who just got shot to bleed out to death, and I don't think the detectives and the police officers would have just let that happen. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So that's very, very questionable to me. Why are we just taking Kirsten? Take both of them. Like
Yeah,
that's
because
just
that would have made more sense because you wouldn't be connecting the dots, but at the same time, it is what it is. Great power play of Matt though. Like definitely he holds it down when he needs to. I
yeah.
feel like he puts more ass when he's Matt Murdock than he is Daredevil. Maybe just in my opinion. You ever notice that? Like in season one, he was whooping more ass as a
Remember
bystander than he was as
he was
Daredevil.
stuck. He remember he was on that. He didn't want to be Daredevil, so he kind of had to get pushed back into that role with the little girl Andrea, and ended up getting kidnapped by Muse. I definitely think there was levels to it. But before I want to go back to a scene, it's a little small scene that sets up this other scene that we're about to discuss between Daredevil and Bullseye, where Daredevil lets Bullseye go, but he asks him for this one particular favor. And as we're going into this scene with the governor, she is in, I believe, her house, and somebody attempts to strangle her, and she ends up getting saved by Bullseye like at the last second, and Bullseye makes it known like, "Hey, I saved you," and just walks out her house, and the police are showing up as he's walking down the driveway. Which I'm assuming that this was Kingpin's move attempt to assassinate the governor.
Yes, correct. And to eliminate the final pieces of the chessboard. So because the governor was going to get rid of the mayor, she was working on something to get to relieve him of his duties. And then as we know, we get a hitman who was there to attack the governor. I really thought that was Cashman. So I mean, I don't know, maybe it's just me. I suspected that was going to be Cashman. Who knows? We'll see who the hitman is, but I believe that hitman is dead. But definitely strong power play on that to send bullseye to it to help the governor out because that is the how do I say this? That is the person you need to get rid of Fisk.
Yes.
But great power play and definitely Bullseye, man. I didn't expect to see him to come back in this, Poindexter. I still love his character. I love him in the season. It's great to just see him. But overall, I did not expect that to happen. Definitely that was like a UTF. And I'm highly shocked that he even did it for Matt.
It seems like because I'm just looking at the cast for season 3 of Daredevil Born Again, and I don't. Well, I'm stuck in between. Is this actually going to be a Daredevil Born Again season 3, or is this going to be a Defenders season? But
I mean, at
Bullseye
this point, I mean, do we
is
really even care?
casted.
Like, does it matter? I mean, at this point, I'll take
It
whatever
doesn't
I get.
matter to me. No, it don't matter to me. But I just the point of it being that Bullseye is casted in season 3, so we're not done with the Bullseye character. Even though this was some Matt when excuse me Daredevil and Bullseye were having the conversation, it seemed like he was going to be able to walk off into the sunset that he did this one task that Daredevil asked him to do. So Bullseye is definitely going to return.
Facts. And I definitely want him to return. I want his character to come back in season three. Um, I'm not complaining. I mean, whether this is going to be a Defenders series or Daredevil season 3 or Defenders season 1.5, I'm cool with it either way. I mean, I wanted the Defenders to come back. I love all the characters. I mean, Iron Fist is still wishy washy with me. I'm cool if he comes back, but I could definitely substitute Iron Fist for Bullseye if we're talking facts. But the one last thing I gotta mention that if you're really gonna do a Defenders, we gotta do it right. And I know he's not part of the squad, but we definitely gotta talk about our boy Punisher. If you bring him with the Defenders, I'm cool with it. That's all I want. That's all I need. I'm craving that shit. I want to see all the cast members back in one place.
You
Definitely,
know it's not
definitely.
happening. We
I know,
already
but
got the cast.
I know, but I'm, fingers crossed. A fan can only wish for one thing. You know what I'm saying? That to me, I know we get into Punisher series, but overall, it's just Marvel. Come on, you want to do it. You want to do it. Just
Man,
do it. Just
you
do it.
might as well just leave it alone. We already got 2 projects with Punisher coming in, so just be happy with those 2 projects, and then we'll get in where we fit in with the Punisher moving forward. But as of right
Facts.
now, The Last Kill and Brand New Day are right around the corner. And last kill is closer than you think. The week after next, we're gonna be right back here having this discussion and
And I'm definitely can't wait for
our
that
thoughts
shit.
about it. But
Definitely can't wait.
last scene, which I definitely this was probably like my favorite scene throughout this whole episode, was we have Heather does a psych evaluation on Karen, and this turns into a whole conversation about well, starts off with Karen telling Heather that she knew about her, which I'm like, damn, Matt told her everything. Like that's kind of crazy. And I want to say the probably the most important part from this particular conversation was that Heather was able to find that sweet spot of Karen, which is Frank Castle. So Karen is not really in love with Matt. She's in love with Frank.
I mean, this interrogation scene was amazing. I really thought Karen was about to lose it and she was about to be exposed as a psychopath, like she did to my man, the swordsman. I really thought Heather was going to manipulate this scene, but overall, she lost the conversation and they put hands on each other. But overall, like
Hold on, Heather
definitely
put the hands on her.
on her. Yeah, Heather put the
She
hands
smacked the shit
on
out of
Karen.
her. She smacked the
Smacked the
shit out of
dog shit out
Karen.
of her too. Like, don't even get me wrong with that shit, because
Huh?
I mean, she touched the soft spot because at first she started alleging that her brother and father were touching her and abusing her, and I'm like, oh damn. And then she was like, well, too bad, is it Matt Rusta really fucked you up? Because, that's what she was saying. Like, how's it feel to be with a man who mysteriously walks out at night and, doesn't tell you where you've been at? And doesn't that shit just kind of turn you on? And I'm like, damn, Karen, that shit right where it hurts too. And she said, and what'd you do? You ran right to Kingpin. It's like, damn, holy shit. And then on top of that, like, she over there, like, testing it. And this is where I'm definitely going back to what I was saying about Karen Page. She's definitely changing, bro. Cause I'm definitely seeing a lot of Frank Castle on her. A lot. Especially when she got choked out by Kingpin. The way she's taking this abuse from Heather. I'm digging this new Karen, bro. I'm digging her. She's like, I'm ready for that action. I'm ready for that smoke.
All right, wait till shit get real. Then we're gonna change up that tune real quick, Karen, are we?
But there's something I do want to talk about with Heather, because it seems like the fan base is already talking about it, and we got to talk about it because it seems like Heather is definitely going to the dark side, and people are talking about she's going to be the female muse in the next season, and I definitely see some psychopathic tendencies with her, and I feel like she's crossing the line, especially when she stole the earrings, Vanessa's earrings from Kingpin, and the way that she's handling the interrogations, manipulating it, revising a lot of the documents to make people turn out to be criminals when they're really not. And overall, like this is definitely, like a different side of Heather. Like her PTSD is really affecting her. And I don't think she sees it, and especially when she was choking out Cashman, and it feels like Cashman is bringing that dark side out of her as well. And all I gotta say is that whoever Heather is, I'm kind of really tempted to see how far this is gonna go. So she better start hitting the gym and start learning how to fucking run them hands, because if she's gonna be the next criminal going forward, I mean, I want to see her. I want to see that 1v1 with Karen, because she said anytime, anywhere, yo. And she's like, we gonna finish this later. And I'm like, ooh, I like that shit. Definitely like that little threat right there.
See, this is the problem with social media where you have people being able to post anything at any time. And I did come across some screenshots of Heather wearing the Muse mask and her in her heels walking around New York. So it's inevitable at this point. This is what we're going to get, her as the new Muse. But I would have preferred her being another villainous character than be us recycling the character Muse. Like, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I feel like it would have been a little bit better if she just didn't continue on with that particular character.
I wouldn't say I'm against the idea. I do think it is recycling the character, but in the comics, Muse was an inhuman who was able to control the power of blood, whether it was his or somebody else's, and he has super strength and a couple other superpowers that I can't remember at the top of my head. He is a very fairly new character, so I'm not very familiar with his work. but he was a psychopath in the Daredevil comic books, and the way that they did justice with him, bringing him on season one, and how they offed him. Overall, we do know that there was two different directors going forward with this, and they decided to change their plans. But to bring him back, I'm okay with it. But if you're going to do it, you got to do justice with it because this character has to be a psychopath. So if we're going to get a character who is going to be committing murder, she does need to be crazy. And I do feel like Heather is fitting that bill, but I feel like it's a little too early unless they're going to if they're going to speed up the time in the next season, which I think it's possible, but they would have to fill a lot of gaps in between that time. But overall, I'm not against the idea. I would like to see Muse, redeemed because that is a pretty badass character. I do like the villain, I do like the character. I always like, a broken psychopath murder, don't fall me for it. But overall, this season was amazing. I definitely think that Mr. Charlie works for the Department of Damage Control, also working with Valentina, looking for enhanced individuals. I believe, that these people are going to be looking for not only enhanced individuals, but also mutants going forward. And I mean, I don't think they're stopping anytime soon.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate this episode?
I would say like, you said a scale from 1 to 10. I
Yeah.
say, it's one of my least favorite episodes. I'll say 5 out of 10.
Okay. The reason why I asked you this question is because I came across an interview with Charlie Cox, and what the question was asked, what is your favorite episode of season 2? And he said episode 7 and 8. So hopefully 8
Interesting.
is better than this.
Then it got to be a two-parter then. So then, therefore, we can't judge the book by its color until finish watching episode 8. Then, if he's saying that, then it's got to be good. So then, therefore, this is two halves of one episode. So interesting. I must have not seen that, or I must have let that go over my head. But definitely, I did like a lot of parts of this episode. It is one of my least favorites. I mean, don't get me wrong; it's not one of the worst episodes of the season. To see Jessica Jones come back and reprise her role again in not only one episode but two, I did wish we got more of an action scene with her. Definitely love the bullseye character. I'm never gonna get tired of this character. The one thing I do feel like we haven't talked about was the fact that Jessica Jones, a husband, aka Power Man Luke Cage, is working for Mr. Charlie, but we don't know why he's working for the Department of Damage Control. It seems he must be doing it for his family, and Jessica is losing her powers. So I'm gonna give you a term that I use when super enhanced individuals lose their superpowers. I call it ED. So I mean, is when their powers ain't working, and I'm kind of like, why is Jessica having ED with her powers? But I guess it's because of the struggle of her trying to balance both her personal life and her superhero life together. She wants to be retired, but she's a single. Well, I want to say a single mom, but she's a
You better
stay-at-home
not
mom.
say it. You better not.
Yeah, my
You
fault,
bet.
my fault.
Yeah.
I gotta watch my words, but she's a stay-at-home mom, a wife, and she is trying to hang up the curtains with the superpower identity. But as always, they never get what they want. She put hands on the CIA and did threaten Mr. Charlie, which I definitely like. Overall, Mr. Charlie's a bitch. I don't like his character. He's a sneaky individual. But overall, I don't like this character and the actor. I mean, he just seems kind of like cringy to me. But overall, I did like a lot of stuff. Karen Page is going off the walls. Heather is going crazy. Kingpin seems to be having this calm, collective power play move, and it's kind of fucking me up because I kind of suspected he was going to go off the rails, but it seems like he has something in mind. I don't know what it is, and I don't like it because I definitely feel like at the end of the season, he might be pulling some out of his ass and he might end up winning this war. Or you could say he'd be winning the battle, not the war. But overall, Kingpin is a smart individual. I love his character. It's definitely crazy how we're seeing a lot of we're getting a lot of characters, recurring characters from the Netflix series come back to reprise their role, but also we're getting a lot of characters that are getting killed off. In my opinion, I feel like they're dying off too soon. And that's just my opinion of the matter. But overall, definitely one of the best seasons of Born Again, and I definitely think it's better than season one. I just wish that we got more episodes, and I feel like sometimes some of the episodes, maybe it's just me, are a little bit short, especially with this week's episode. Maybe it just the time flew by, but I feel like this episode was really, really short. Like I felt like it wasn't even like 40 minutes. I felt it was like maybe like 15 to 20 minutes. That's just maybe just me.
Yeah, it was short. If well, it felt short, even though it had a 45-minute runtime. It definitely did feel short, but I can be honest, it did end pretty. It ended well. I'll say that it ended well, so I can't complain. It has us on the edge of our seats, looking forward to episode 8, which is next week.
The only thing I gotta ask is, I mean, do you think the season is better off without the Punisher? Or do you think we should have just added him in the season?
The multiple conversations of having this with you and listening to the
Fans?
non-smart fans, the ignorant ones, try to fit them all in one freaking category so you don't be like, well, some of them won't be like, hey, you didn't say this about me. Uh, we'll just leave it at the freaking dumb fans. I'm sorry, I can't think of an intelligent word to
The
use.
ignorant one. I'm gonna leave it as
Ignorant and
ignorant.
dumb. How about that? Ignorant and dumb. Y'all get on my nerves. Like every time we try to have a conversation with y'all just be like, yeah, well, this is not right. Well, can't appease everybody. So
You can't. And
at
everybody
the
seems
end,
to be nitpicking, and some of them don't know what they're talking about because it's obvious that some of these don't even read the comics or even
everything
watch these
everything
full
just
TV
keeps on
episodes
going
or
back to Frank Castle. Let's just put it like that.
facts.
In this season period, almost every single episode that we have sat down and watched from 1 through 7, and I'm pretty sure we're going to have to deal with in episode 8, that we go back to having the same conversation.
I wouldn't
Frank
be shocked, and to
Castle,
be honest with you, if they have a cameo with him in it or they mention him in some way, shape, or form. And for all the ones who keep doubting that, okay, whatever, he's this, he's that, whatever. We'll see about that when we get the last kill. So I digress. More power to y'all.